Hey guys, I just wanted to give you a quick example on how to solve some unknowns within a cylinder. So if I get a scenario where I'm given my surface area and I'm asked to find something like my height or length of the cylinder, or maybe I could even be asked to find my radius or my diameter or something like that from it. So using that information, I just want you guys to connect the idea. If I asked you to look at this problem and I said the surface area is 1,295.25 centimeters squared, and I asked you guys more or less to think about what makes up that, how am I getting that number, I'm hoping most of you guys are thinking we have a net, and the net looks something like this, where I have a rectangle and I have two circles, both having a diameter of 15 centimeters. So knowing that, I don't know how long this is, that's still my unknown. The separation between my circles is what that height represents. I don't know that. Now I know when I look at this, I can find the area of these. I can get the area of my circle. And I know that 1,295 is made up of two circles and a rectangle. The rectangle is the only piece that has an unknown on it. So what I want to do is I want to isolate. I want to get rid of all the other areas connected with other shapes because I don't care about those areas. I want to know the area of that rectangle. So to do that, I'll just start down here. It's the exact same thing because I have a 15 centimeter circle, and I know to find area, it's simply pi times r squared. I know pi, we're giving a value of 3.14. I know radius is going to be half of my diameter. So if I go 15 divided by 2, I get 7.5. So 7.5 squared. Now remember, that doesn't mean 7.5 times 2. That means 7.5 times 7.5. When I do those calculations, I end up getting a value of 353.25. Now, one thing I just did it really fast. I actually times this by 2, and the reason I multiplied this by 2 is because I looked at it and I said I had two circles. So that 353.25 is for both circles. Hope that makes sense to you guys. Okay, so that's centimeters squared. So knowing that now, what I can do is I can turn around and say, well, I only want the area of this rectangle. I want to figure out what that is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around and take the 1,295.25 and I want to subtract that 353.25. Now when I do that, I get a value of about 942. So that means this rectangle is 942 centimeters squared. Now, I know you guys know how to find the area of a rectangle. You guys know that that area, that 942 centimeters squared, it was gotten by multiplying this length by this length. Now, I don't know what that number is. I don't know what that question mark is. But this bottom piece, I can figure out how long that is because that length is exactly the same as my circumference. So when I turned around and if I drew a picture of this rectangle, I may not know what that piece is, but this is definitely my circumference. And my circumference I can get by multiplying my diameter by pi. Well, I know my diameter, so I can actually figure that out. Times my diameter, 15. So when I do a little bit of math, I get 47.1. That distance is my C. So this number can actually go in for here. So this is 47.1 centimeters. So instead of having a C there, I'm going to put 47.1. And I just put it up above because C and 47.1 are exactly the same. And in a rectangle, both lines have to be the same length for it to be a rectangle. So now I know that 942, I know kind of this idea. I know that my area, I multiplied a length times a width. I know my area was 942 centimeters squared. I figured that out right here. I know my length. Well, I don't really know my length, but I know my width is 47.1 centimeters. So the debate is to figure out what that length or that unknown, that question mark, to figure out what that's going to be, all I have to do is simply say, well, what's the opposite of timesing something by 47.1? I'm going to use algebra. I'm looking for my unknown, and I'm going to divide by 47.1 centimeters. If I do it to one side, have to do it to the other. So now, when I do this, these guys cancel, leaves me with my length, and 942 divided by 47.1 should be 20 centimeters. And I just figured out how long that section is. So what I'm doing, guys, just so you understand, I'm kind of working with what I know, getting rid of things until I have a number that is just representative of my unknown. So I could have done the exact same problem where instead of if I gave you the height and I took away the diameter, you would have to kind of work back in steps to figure out what you can solve. So if you know the total area, then you're going to be working and kind of checking back on things. And it's a lot harder if you don't know the diameter because you kind of have to do a couple of different steps. But it's that idea of subtracting, getting rid of the things you don't know and using what you do know and kind of making those pieces together. Okay? So hopefully that makes sense. Have a chance to go over it again if you need to. Again, it's just that idea of what makes up my surface area, taking away what you already know, so you have your unknowns specific to one thing. Okay? Hopefully it made sense. Take care, guys.